Put your phones down, stop texting, and learn a lost art form. We are talking about writing a letter, or at least typing one. State lawmakers were busy today writing letters about what kind of law enforcement is needed in Denver. Republicans were writing letters asking different leaders for different types of help. Democrats were chiming in too. It's a good thing politics guy Marshall Zellinger has a thing for glasses, because there was certainly a lot of reading to do today.
Because texting the president is too informal, Republican State Representative Dave Williams started the day's letter writing with this note to the president, asking for federal law enforcement to come to Denver, in part to prevent further vandalism at the Capitol.
Would I be accurate that generally you want less government interference in life?
Yeah, correct. That's correct.
So why ask for federal government interference in state business?
Because it's gotten to a point where the governor has refused to do what is necessary to restore law and order.
Part of his letter referenced the pro-police rally this weekend and suggested Denver police were given orders to not protect the ralliers from the anti-police protesters, a claim also made by Republican House Minority Leader Patrick Neville on a national news program last night. So I asked Denver's manager of safety about it.
Did you or Chief Pazin issue a stand-down order specifically to not engage in getting in between the two groups?
Absolutely not. Chief Pazin, myself, the mayor, the governor, I've heard that rumor. We're not a part of that operation. It is not out of the norm for the commanders on the ground and the commander in the operations center to dialogue about what they think the appropriate actions are.
The second letter today came from House and Senate Democrats. It was sent to the U.S. Attorney in Colorado and said federal forces would not be welcome without an invitation. The third letter came from House Republicans as a group, led by Representative Hugh McKean. It asked the governor to use the National Guard to protect state-owned property, including Veterans Park, where a shooting just happened within a homeless camp 2 hours ago. Williams, who asked for federal help, also signed McKean's letter asking for state help.
Short of not being able to handle that within the state, I would prefer for it to stay here before we go asking elsewhere for help.
We should be teaching penmanship back in school. We don't have to do the type letters anymore. I asked the governor's office, after all those letters, is the governor planning on having members of the National Guard patrol or protect state-owned buildings like the state capitol? I'd read his response, but it only deals with federal troops, Anusha. It did not answer the question at all about the National Guard. And I'm looking at my email hoping I could get a refreshed answer, and there still is nothing, so no response about the National Guard.
All right, checking up to the last minute. Thank you for that, Marshall. Appreciate it.